party. Pretoria answer the call, like it gone to sleep, Adam Godney stand tall. In the harbor of Durban, the seal ships ride. The ANC plays a game of seek and hide. They call for the exercise in like the east wind, and point to Beijing and say they're the ones who sin. Turbine was under this, I guess, at the gate. Now they say who invited them, it must have been fake. Confusion in the Union building, shadows on the wall. Now the truth gets buried in the marble hall. Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it the suit in the office or the gun in hand? Oh, that from the Congo to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rock start to skip a beat. No books for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the dollar. The go take a rest. And she speaks of an inquiry, a court to be won, but the days turn to weeks and the paper is torn. No answers coming down, there's the heavy silence, while the heroes in the bush face no rebel violence. Sent to the jungle with no wings in the sky, only 3 helicopters, how can they fly? No medevac coming when they let us to rain. Chased by the rebels, oh the pride and the pain. No uniform, no boot, no boots, oh wait, look at the budget for the big salute. P7, 2 million for retirement spree. Modern Navy is sinking beneath the sea. Not a submarine moving, not a sailor in sight, but the body lights are burning to the Pretoria night. The chief of defense, he's a law to himself. Yeah, commander of the Navy puts the stay on the self, defying the colonial, ignoring the sir, while the ghost of the fly starts awake and to stir. And what's this whisper? What's this dark news? The chairman tried with murder and he's the one they choose. Promoted to the top, while the dockets go forward. Is this the new story that's being told? Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it Siren? Is it Langy? That's trying to understand. Oh, from the Crown Hope to the Pretoria street, the drums of the ropes are to skip a beat. No boost for the boys, no armor for the chest, but million for the tenor on the moat in the rest. The generals are dancing, the politicians are glancing. The money is vanishing and the soldiers are wandering. Who's the boss? Siren. Who's the boss? Yankee. The military's gone rogue in the sun. The parade has only just begun.
The Viceroy of Greenland. First came the Dorset, ghosts of the frost, o'er Baffin Bay where the sunlight is lost. They carved out a life on the edge of the world before the red banners of Vikings unfurled. Then Eric, the outcast with fire in his eye, fled Iceland's cold judgment for a new northern sky. 25 long ships set sail for the west, but the hammer of Neptune put them to the test. 11 were swallowed by the salt and the foam. 14 survived to find a new home. Oh, the ice is a kingdom, the tundra is gold, a saga of iron, a story of old. From the eastern heart to the western shore, the Norsemen are rising to conquer once more. Through the mist and the thunder, the prophecy seen. All hail the Viceroy of Greenland. Farms in a warm epoch's light, 10,000 Norsemen prepared for the fight. From middle to western the settlements grew under a sky of a cold, brilliant blue. But the Thule arrived like a wave from the west. Ancestors of Inuit put to the quest in a single great surge from the north south they took the cold land from the dragon's own mouth. The Norsemen vanished, the Thule they remained. Then the Danes took the coast and the Inuit chained. But when Nazis loomed and the Danes gave away, the eagles of liberty entered the fray. Stars and the stripes over glacier and peak, the giants are waking, the masters are weak. The 47th rose with a plan in his hand. He looked to the north at the great frozen land. I'll buy it with silver, the president cried. But the Danes in their towers, they laughed in their pride. He returned in his glory with a vow and a blade. By gold or by iron, the deal shall be made. Who shall I send to the fjord and the snow? Who is the hero to make the land grow? Oh, the ice is a kingdom, the tundra is gold. A saga of iron, a story of old. From the eastern heart to the western shore, the Norsemen are rising to conquer once more. Through the mist and the thunder, the prophecy seen. All hail the Viceroy of Greenland. And the will of the storm, the American Empire begins to take form. Chris is running the show. Chris is running the
Sunday night, January 25th, 2026. Welcome back to the program, folks. Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Buried under snow outside, but I did get the snowblower out and cleaned it up. Hip was a little sore after doing that, but I'm all right now. Let me listen to the sound here. After doing that, sounds pretty good. Welcome to the program in Night Owls. It's always a pleasure to have you join me this evening as we discuss whatever's on your mind, a little bit of news topics tonight, a few things to talk about. But yeah, it's let's see who's in the chat, and I'll say hello to anybody I can. It's a relatively small audience at the moment as it grows. Work people, Helena, Troy. CMM is here. Desert Owl is back. Kathy Price. Hello, Kathy. Wrong stream. Why are you leaving the stream? It's the right stream. I'm confused. Hanley, and then has become a member. Thank you for that, Hanley Erasmus. And then Junice Lawrence. Thank you so much for that. Marley Quinn. Thank you once again. Yep. And then Angelique, hello to you. Hendo, Nikki Hayden, Sean Blum, Charles Van Onselen, the voice of reason. Charles, I hope you're feeling better. Mr. Echo, Conrad Hedenhuis, hello Conrad. And Monster Max is here. Hey, Monster Max. Charles Edward Cook. And Fonz is in from Colorado. Must be nice out there. It's actually warmer tonight than it was today. Can you imagine that? It's nighttime. The temperature is higher. It was 13 degrees this afternoon. Unless that's wrong. Let me just double click and maybe that's an old news story. Oh, it's 13 degrees. Yeah, that's what it was today. So the temperature hasn't changed. That's pretty wild. Temperature consistent. Because there was really no sun to heat the earth up. It was just clouds from the snow. So I guess that's why. Mobile emergency responder. Well, good to you. Welcome to you. Chesigi, welcome to you. And who else we got here? Ulrich Fenter's back. Momo's back. Petrus von der Linde, Cherry Pie Lady. My cherry pie. B.R. Alexander, welcome back. A.J. Quinn. Hendo, there is our moderator extraordinaire. What a dude, man. Hendo is through here thick and thin. Moderators come and go. They all do. Or some of them take breaks. But Hendo is always around. Wow, the guy is like the sun. You know, he's going to rise in the east and set in the west. Yep, what a stud. What a stud. People don't appreciate Hendo as much as they should. How about a round of applause for Hendo? Can I get some applause for Hendo? Let's show a little love to our moderator extraordinaire who's always here through thick and thin. Yep, come on. Let's give it up, folks. Give it up. Come on. Somebody. I see the hearts coming, but let's get some, there you go. Come on, catch up. I know the chat's a little bit behind a few seconds. There we go. Thank you very much. All right, there you go. That's for Hendo. Show a little appreciation for him. Sally, Phoenix, Bex, welcome to you. Future looks bright. I hope it does. Karen Lange, welcome to you. 38 Celsius, I need to go out and buy some groceries. 38 Celsius is high. That's pretty warm. Okay. And then Denver's such a nice place, says Sean. It's all right. Cyrus Savoy, welcome to you. Christophe Arda. Okay. Momo. Well, look at that. You guys are showing some love for Hendo. That's awesome. Really appreciate it, guys. Hendo, see your love, man. Where else do you get that? Cherie, welcome to you. Broken Arrow. DeBaram, George, what's going on, my friend? Francois Fenter, good morning from South Africa. Good morning from Cinderella. East Coast Ostrich, that's a cool name. And then if you got your head buried in the sand, Multiplex. Lilu Dallas. Multipass. Varoshka's here before she goes to work. Good to see you there. 16 in Texas. Lots of ice, no indication of melting. Well, it better melt before Thursday because I got to land in Dallas. All right, Enigma. New chapter. Hendo is the best. He does rock, doesn't he? He's pretty awesome. Oh, look at that. Look at Hendo. Thank you. South African, U.S., UK, EU flag. Tui, EU flag. And the Canadian flag. All right. You guys, that's awesome. All right, cool beans. All right. You know, we have to remember, and Jarethra, thank you very much for that. We have to remember sometimes, you know, in the background. Now, that's not to slight Mad Max. If Mad Max is here, Mad Max has become quite the moderator. And he's really put a lot of effort into the channel for some time now, for a number of months. But Hendo has been here from the outset. We're talking 6 years this month, folks. February will make 6 years. I think it was like February 18th or something like that when I first posted a video. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I had a channel. I had a channel for 15 years and only had 2 videos on it. I think it was around February 18th that I started doing what I'm doing now. Yeah, started slowly and it went from there. Very juvenile, using my laptop to record videos and then trying to stream on my laptop using Wi-Fi. That doesn't work. You got to have a fiber connection. You got to have a hardwire connection to your LAN card. It just doesn't work. I don't eat sushi. Sorry. It's disgusting. A raise for Hendo. 2 acorns in the podcast. Just another girl. Cool beans. Matt Max is amazing how he hunts down leads and stories. He does. He really keeps us informed. Some of the ones I've covered already, but he does a really good job finding the ones that are more obscure. That's really, he does a great job. Rena, welcome to you. So welcome back, folks. You know, one of the frustrating things about doing this is people that want to troll and come along. And also the frustrating thing, too, is that when you chat, not everything you want to convey gets across, and sometimes it comes across incorrectly. And when I misunderstand something, I freely admit it, and I actually have apologized many times on the channel for misunderstanding someone. So if you say something that comes across wrong, just clarify your statement, okay? Because there are genuine trolls who come on here and act like fools, and they try to ruin the experience for everyone else. So if you are intentionally trying to be an ass and direct people to other channels, you'll find your comments just deleted and eventually get in a timeout. Just give me a few heads up. There's a few people like to do that, and they've been tolerated, but they won't be tolerated anymore because they're detracting from my viewers' experience. So I don't know if Mad Max is here tonight, man. We were complimenting him. He might not be here. Yeah. So, gosh. Busy day as always on a Sunday. My Sunday is not the day of rest. I mean, I did, this morning I did the Biz News program after Biz News. I haven't even looked to see what nasty comments are on there. I'm sure there's some nasty comments about what I had to say, because I'm sure the black supremacists and the blue-haired leftist liberals don't like when you point out when there's a shortcoming. So, yeah, that was first thing I did this morning. Then I prepared a video, loaded the video up. Then I did my news prep, and I did the news. Then a refugee interview with the Strauss family, which was fantastic. And after that, it was a Cafe Clutch. We had a troll in there. After the Cafe Clutch, I went out and I forgot, between preparing for the news, after making the video, preparing for the news, and before doing the news broadcast at 10 a.m., I was out plowing snow, killing the snow away with my new snowblower, which I can see the battery only lasts about 20 minutes max. So I learned a good lesson there the first time I used it. Usually I buy a backup battery. I want to make sure this thing worked before I wasted like $60 on the battery. So now I'll buy a backup battery so I have a spare, and then just charge one. And And then when it runs out, replace it real quick, and then, be charging the other one. So anyway, but it worked really well. It was good stuff. So that was interesting. I was surprised it worked as well as it did. And I cleaned off the sidewalk. Then after it was all over, then I went back out and cleaned the sidewalk again because another several inches had fallen. We must have had 10 to 12 inches of snow here. But what I find fascinating is how the media try to play this up. They try to act like this is the greatest crisis since the world was founded, like the planet has never experienced anything like this. But quite frankly, I got to say, someone's probably died in a storm. There's always someone that dies as a consequence of a storm. So I'm not trying to make light of that. But it's an absolute joke from meteorologists. We were the hardest hit part of the country with the worst amount of snow, the longest fall, and freezing rain that fell on top of it. And, that's what's the storm of the century, which is what some of these people are playing up to be. It was a horrible storm. Now, it may have been large and covered a large geographic area, but its impact here in the worst part, the deepest, most impactful place in the country was negligible. 2 feet of snow. We didn't get 2 feet of snow. I've lived in this house several years now, and we had more snow here when I moved in the first winter. The first winter, the snow was up to my hips. It snowed for like 2 days, and we had to snow up to my hips. So, it's just, they overdo this stuff. And this is not like the blizzard of 78. So they overdo this thing. Everything is like the greatest, the biggest hurricane. No one's ever experienced this before. The wind speeds are record speeds. The temperatures are record high. Carbon is record high. This is all nonsense. Total nonsense. First off, human records of meteorology only go back a little over a century. Not even 150 years. So stop the nonsense. We've been following the path of the stars and the moon and the sunrise and comets in the sky for millennia. But even that's a blink in the eye. A blink of the eye in the time of geologic time. In a time scale of geologic activity on this planet. It's just ridiculous. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was far higher, multiple times higher during the Triassic period than it is now. They milk everything for clicks and attention. Now look, it's warranted that people not travel during this weather. It's warranted that people be prepared for the weather, but it isn't like the world is going to end, and that's how they try to do it. Exactly. Once again, toilet paper went first. Why? Let me ask you this question. Why do people not have toilet paper in their house? Do they wipe their bums with their hands? Seriously, how do you not have multiple rolls of toilet paper in your house? What kind of responsible adult doesn't have toilet paper in the house? Or paper towels? Or jugs of water? Or spare batteries? How many responsible people don't go out and fire up their cars during winter time at least once or twice a week, even if you don't drive it? Honestly, ask yourself this question. It's crazy. Yeah, even the weather's fake. The media's lost the plot. Exactly. Yeah, same in Northeast Ohio. It wasn't the storm of the century. I was in Ohio for the blizzard of 78, and that was the storm. That was the biggest snowstorm I've ever seen in my life. Visibility 2 meters or less. Swirling winds blowing, huge accumulations, drifts everywhere. People cut off, thousands of people cut off. Oops, we're giving out memberships there. Thank you for that, Whale Source. 5 memberships. It really gets annoying. Yeah, so, it's really super, super annoying. I pay for a service now that services my furnace twice a year, like clockwork. I pay a small fee because there aren't enough of these companies around. There aren't enough people. That's why people are like, I'm coming to America. I won't be able to find a job. Oh my God, are you serious? We don't have enough electricians, HVAC technicians, or masons or plumbers, and they charge a fortune because they're so in demand all the time. More, better, more, better, more, better. Give us more, give us more, give us more. Lower the prices, be more competitive. And so it's hard. If you want your furnace serviced in a house, you have to have a contract with a company to come out twice a year. Otherwise, I didn't have a contract. So when I needed a contract and I had a furnace issue, I had to be on a waiting list. And fortunately, somebody canceled an appointment, so they came to me within a few days. Otherwise, it wasn't until 6 or 8 weeks before they got to me. And by then, it was far too late. So now I have a contract service provider. They come out at least twice a year, schedule maintenance in the spring and in the fall, prepare for summer for air conditioning and all that, and to prepare in the fall for the wintertime. And then you do your maintenance. But how many people do that? Fortunately, not everybody. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't. Worst cold I experienced in 150 years. Well, okay. Fonz, you're not 150 years old. And the worst cold you experience is mild cold in Colorado. You're not overreacting, Anton. I have toilet paper. I have cans of beans. I have cans of meat. I have pilchards. I have chips, crisp. I have pasta. I have sauces. I have batteries, and everything gets rotated. Everything gets rotated. It's dated. You work your way through it. Yeah, never going to be caught in the breach wanting or needing something. The only thing that I need to do is my car. When I came back, I wanted to get home so I could do the live stream at 10 o'clock, and I drove straight through when I came back from Rochester. So I got to the place where the petrol station is, but it would have taken me 5 minutes in if there's no line, 10 minutes to get petrol, 5 minutes to leave, so 20 minutes later to get home, and it would have been pushing it to make the live stream that night. So I came home and had less than a quarter of a tank of petrol. So I had to go back and get petrol. I did that before the weather turned. I filled it up. Yep. Yes, Rena, people played it up like it was the worst. It wasn't the worst. It was mild. Yes, it's a big snowstorm. And yes, it dumped a crap load of snow all over states in a huge swath. But it wasn't like any of us got buried under 10 feet of snow. Now, if you look at the map, this is supposed to be the worst place. Let me take a look at the next. So we go to weather.com. Let's take a look at weather.com. Fern turns deadly. Oh, did they name the storm now? They must have named the storm. 14 degrees is saying outside. Deadly cold temperatures, snow and ice spread across much of the nation today. Here's the latest news. Multiple deaths, travel near impossible, swaths of the U.S. without power. Are we past the worst? So here's the current conditions. It looks like it's mostly flowed across and away from us. So there's the continental United States. You can see that there's some in northeastern Pennsylvania and Scranton, my old haunts. A bit in the Appalachian Mountains there, a little patch there. Some over Arkansas and northeast Texas. Colorado's got some snow, or it's either snow or rain. And then the northeast, New England has still got it. But you can see that it's pretty much moved through most of the United States compared to what I've been showing you. This is the infrared. That's the temperature. So the brighter the color, the warmer the temperature. And orange colors indicate colder. So orange isn't colder, that's hot, excuse me. So you see the blue, this is the coldest part. Pennsylvania, I'm right in the midst of that, right here in the center of Pennsylvania. So I'm getting that part right in here. So the coldest part. And it's 14 degrees, which is what the temperature is right now here. You can see a lot of the country's cold. Denver's 8 degrees. That's not that warm. Idaho's got 31, just above freezing. Twin Falls looking pretty good right now. California in the 50s. Texas down in the 30s. Here's the forecast. Today. Tonight, Buffalo, New York, 8 degrees. Oof. Washington, 19. That's a thunderstorm forecast in South Georgia and Florida. So, Winter Storm Fern. Storm death reported in Austin, Texas, about an hour ago. City of Austin confirmed its cause of death was hypothermia. Somebody that went outside. 70,000 people without power. End of the winter storm arrives soon. Winter storm Fern's last mark will be made in New England on Monday. Fern's center may slow for a time on Monday. This means that the snow flurries are likely to stick around there at times for the day, but the heaviest snowfall will be long gone by sunrise. Meanwhile, many across the country will begin to thaw out from the ice that will likely make travel and recovery efforts tricky from Texas to Tennessee. Temperatures will be well below average to start the work week. They may not reach freezing in parts of the South, including hard-hit northern Mississippi, until Tuesday. You can see snowfall there. There's none falling currently. I'm just north of where it says Baltimore on that map. Small passenger plane overturned at Bangor Airport in Maine. Why were they flying when all these aircraft are grounded? This is what linemen face. Yep. Did you see that coming? Did you see that tree? You hear it start to snap, and it's frozen, so it just broke. That's nature at work. It's too heavy. Frozen ice on the tree. Look at it. It's leaning. It's going to snap. That's deadly. You get hit by that, that's game over, man. That's some bad mojo there. Here's somebody slipping around in Boston, Massachusetts. Check this out. Snowboarding in Boston. That's funny. Oh, look at this clown. This is dangerous. Illegal also. That's not legal. That's not legal. Oh, he's still going. Here we go. That is not legal. There's cross-country skis. People zipping around in Boston. Anyway, stupid people should wear signs. So the storm they talk about, it's steam nados. Cold Arctic air moves over warm lake water. Steam forms that can rotate and rise in the clouds. Harmless. Let's see this. See it in the distance there. Looks like a tornado. See it? Hard to see on that screen. Anyway. Yeah, that's enough of the weather. It's not nearly what they claimed it was going to be. I lived in Canada for 3 years. Proper winters. Vietnam. Well, there's a big difference there, Mark, between Canada and Vietnam. That's for damn sure. $10 for a beer. Wow. Life is good. I don't know if I want to live under the commies, though. Although they're commies in name only in Vietnam for the most part. As long as you keep your mouth shut and don't speak out against government, you do fine there. Ice skating and black ice on the road. Yep, I believe it. -4 is beyond your coping skills. Humans adapt very well. I actually walked to school as a child in a real snowstorm. My choice to take a shortcut, walk through snow up to my waist. Even as a kid, I thought, I'm going to tell my kids about this. Yep. Okay, what else you got there? Hypothermia, no joke. Yeah, got wet sitting at anchor and then on watch overnight. But it doesn't have to be cold for you to get hypothermia. No. That's a misnomer too. It doesn't have to be freezing for you to get hypothermia. Yeah, people get hypothermia at much higher temperatures. Yep, you got to be careful. Your body temperature getting lowered is dangerous. Rita, it's not harsh. You just have to get used to it. That's all. You just get acclimated and used to it, and it'll be fine. Extra toilet paper went on special. Exactly, Karen. That's what I do. I buy things when they're on sale, as long as it doesn't put too much stock down there, so it winds up running out. Once in a lifetime storm in Far East Russia with whole apartment buildings buried with 10-meter drifts. Yeah, exactly. Oh, in Kamchatka. Oh, I know where Kamchatka is, Light Rain. There was a fantastic series that was recorded by a German film company called Wild Russia. I loved it. It was on the HD TV back in the day, probably around 2010 time frame. 2010. Yeah. And it was called Wild Russia. It was amazing. And I actually found copies of it, and I downloaded it, and I had it on a drive somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it. I don't know where I've got it at right now. Probably in a store drive somewhere, but it's amazing. It did all the zones, the Caucasus, Kamchatka, the Taiga, the steppe, and all the things about wildlife and nature. It was incredible. It was one of the most amazing film series ever called Wild Russia. They did a special on Kamchatka was one of the best. That was the best episode. Let me see if I can find that. Wild Russia documentary. Wild Russia. There it is. Oh, it's available on, what is this, on YouTube probably? Wow. It aired in 2009. I said 2010. So it's got episode 1, Far East, the Stark Peninsula of Kamchatka. Then it's got the Primorye, the Caucasus, Siberia, the Arctic, primeval valleys. Yeah, Wild Russia. It's saying National Geographic, but it was Germans who did it. So let me just go back to that. Watch. It's on YouTube. Okay. Oh, I have to pay. Of course. You have to pay on YouTube to watch it. It's YouTube TV. So, not there. Okay, that sucks. But Wild Russia. What a great series. Watch Wild Russia online. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, YouTube TV. Got to pay for YouTube. Damn it. What a great documentary that was. But I've got the digits somewhere. I'm going to find them someday because I absolutely love it. And I'll burn it all to a drive or something like that where I can just stick it in and watch it. Wild Russia. It was fantastic. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. That really kept me glued to the screen. It's such beautiful. It's amazing. Kamchatka is what a fascinating place full of fire and ice, volcanoes. Kamchatka is a massive island or peninsula off the coast of of Russia. It's amazing. Amazing. Was that over water? So water spouts. Yeah, that was over water. Yep. The Urals. Yep. Oh, Charles, did you watch Wild Rush? It was amazing, wasn't it? What a great show. I don't know why you can't buy the DVD. I mean, I'd love to buy the DVD, but it isn't available. So let me go to Amazon and see if I can find it. Every time I look at Amazon, it's never there. So Wild Russia DVD. Well, it has it here. Unavailable. Wild Russia. Is that a magazine? It says DVD. Disc 1. Huh. Beautiful production from National Geographic. English subtitles not provided, but quality closed captions are in sync. 4-part series. Kamchatka, then Lake Baikal. It was a 6-part series. U.S. version of Nat Geographic's Wild Russia. What wasn't Nat Geographic? Currently there's a high-definition version of what I thought was the UK version on YouTube with different narration, music, and everything else. Different versions. Yeah, the one I saw was amazing. Russia is very much like North America as far as natural splendor. Many fascinating differences. This one says poor narration. Narrator's fake accent is hard to ignore. How do you advertise a picture of a tiger but never show a tiger? I thought they did show the Siberian tigers. Yeah, it's a stupid cover. It's released in 2018. 3 left in stock. Well, I'll buy this one. Just because. I wonder if they have it in Blu-ray. That'd be cool if they had Blu-ray instead. Format. No, they don't have Blu-ray. That's Wild Russia DVD. Which one's this? Animal. $195. That must be somebody's copy that they have for years. Wow. Wow. Interesting. Items in my basket have changed prices. Anyway. Big rain clouds pushing inland. Fully overcast since 23rd. Hey, Sedgefield. Nice has gotten a crap. Lived there 24 years. It's a shame. Best years as a lagoon. Oh, okay. Yeah, David Attenborough's pretty good. Yeah, I talked to people who are flying now, so going to different places. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the weather. We have Refugee interview tomorrow. That's right. Well, Monday. It's Monday now for South Africans. Today for you, but tomorrow for me. We have Minri Lamprecht, who is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. She seems to be really enjoying it. Her reception has been quite good, so it's great to hear. Cool beans. So we'll have that on. All right. So what else we got here? Snow tigers. No, the Siberian tigers are amazing. They're very small number of them. Yep, Siberian tigers map. Let's see. They used to be all over Asia, but they're really limited now. Yep. 100,000 down to 3,200. 1,900, estimated 100,000 wild tigers roam the globe. Now only an estimated 3,000 exist in the world. Wow. They all come from a common ancestor that lived 72,000, 108,000 years ago. The oldest fossils found modern tigers date back to 1.6 million years. More tigers live in captivity than in the wild. Yep. In the past 80 years, 3 of the 9 subspecies have gone extinct. That's sad. They've lost 93% of the historic range. That's really, really sad. Oh, they're finally plowing my street. The Amur tiger is the proper name for it. Tiger subspecies in northeast China, Russia, and Far East, possibly North Korea. Yep. Siberian tigers. Here's one filmed in a camera trap in Siberia. They're gorgeous. Beautiful creatures. Hey, Kathy. How you doing? Anyway, folks, tigers, fascinating. Unfortunately, we've wiped out most of the range because there's too many damn people living in Asia. Population needs to be reduced by about 80%. Wait, I sound like Bill Gates. A pouch with a title, Beware of Old Men and Dangerous Professionals. Looks like a younger Buckman in a full army kit. Oh, yeah. Someone made an image of that with my likeness on it. Beware of Old Men and Dangerous Professions. Yep. That's made the rounds a couple years ago. Yep. All right, let's take a look at some stuff that might be interesting for you guys, okay? Some South Africa stuff. Well, let me look at my Subaru first. Let me see how badly it went for me in the end. Okay, not so great. Friday, I got 3 out of 4. The Lions let me down by having a draw. Then I missed 3 in a row. Then I got the Harlequins Leicester game correct. I picked Northampton by 13, and they won by 14, both points. I picked Leicester over Connacht, or Leinster over Connacht, got that one right, but I picked a much bigger margin. I picked the Stormers to win, so they let me down. Then I picked Zebra Parma, and I picked Cardiff over Benetton by 7, and they won by 9. So I got bonus points, 2 bonus points. Yesterday I got 1 bonus point. So I got 3 bonus points over the weekend. So I started well, 3-0. Then I went 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. Then I went 1, 2, 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins. So for the weekend it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 and 5. Given how the weekend was going, that's actually not too bad. So I can't complain too much about that, although it would be nicer to do better. Road to the World Cup. 48 nations. Not really interested in the World Cup. So what day is this? That's Friday the 30th of January. Okay, so Friday, I'll do my picks now. It's early in the week. Benetton, the Scarlets. I'll pick Benetton, even though they haven't been playing well. I'll pick them by 5. Munster and Glasgow. That's a tough one, but Munster's on the road, so I'll pick Glasgow by 7. Bulls and Lions. Oof. They're in Joburg. The Bulls looked a lot better, but man, should I pick the Lions over the Bulls? I'm going to do it. Take a chance there. Sharks and Stormers. The Stormers cannot repeat. They're going to have to come out for blood. I'll pick them by 7. Zebra Parma have only won 2 games. Connacht has won 2 games. They're in Zebra Parma. Zebra Parma in an upset by 4. Leinster over Edinburgh. That's easy. Leinster easily. Pick Leinster by 11. And then Dragons and Osprey, another hard one. Osprey at home, don't let me down. Pick them by 6. Ulster and Cardiff. Ulster and Cardiff. I want to say Cardiff, but Ulster's at home. Take a chance on them by 7. Lions and Sharks. That's on the 21st. Oh, wait a second. What's the line? I picked the Lions already here, did I? 31st. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's February. That can wait. But that's part of this round. Yep, they're out there plowing the street now, so I'm going to have to go back out and clean up my driveway because they'll push all the snow back in my driveway. Bastards. Anyway, they can't help. That's what they have to do. So, all right. I got a bunch of stuff open here I don't need. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, Mr. Echo, have a good day at work. Your cat is nagging to be groomed. YouTube didn't know if I'm here live or showed me live. When I browse the site, we're going to... Neff, I'm here every night except Saturday night. That's the one night I try to take a break, unless I'm traveling. Next week I'll be traveling, so we'll see. This week we'll see how it goes. All right, the Rand is looking at 16-1. Good news for South Africans, bad news for me. Good news for South Africans, bad news for me. What the heck's going on? I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. 16-1. Wow, that's exciting news for South Africans. Unless you're exporting to America, it's not so good. The past week, the rand came close to trading on the right side of 16 for the first time since 2022. A test of 16 appears plausible. Should gold go above 4,800 an ounce. But listen to this bullshit. Even amid red-hot geopolitical tensions fueled by an aggressive President Trump, the dollar has failed to attract strong inflows. Yeah, that won't last. All right, so once again, this is when you have to just call the old folks home, call the paddy wagon, and ask them to take this gentleman away because he's lost the plot. He's lost the plot. Who am I talking about? Thabo Mbeki. You start to wonder if the man is senile. Listen to this. Apartheid forces orchestrated MK Party's electoral success. Are you serious? Are you serious? So apartheid forces have orchestrated the rise of a political party that calls for disenfranchising white people, for expropriating land, for nationalizing industry, and for black supremacy. So why would apartheid forces do that? First off, there is no apartheid, you dumbass. This guy is someone needs to fix his lithium prescription. I think that Thabo Mbeki's lithium prescription is unbalanced. He alleged the apartheid government's national security management system, supposedly disbanded in 1993, was activated to deliver MK's sudden electoral success. No, your incompetence, you causing the death of 600,000 South Africans because your arrogance and your ego and your party's corruption is what caused it. But to their credit, the ANC, the MK rejected? I don't know. MK launched a social media campaign highlighting President Mbeki's blunders, including HIV/AIDS. Exactly. There you go. Two former presidents are engaged in a fierce mudslinging match, with Thabo Mbeki claiming the apartheid force behind the explosion in support of Jacob Zuma's Umkhonto we Sizwe party. During last weekend's conference of veterans at ANC's Umkhonto we Sizwe, Mbeki said MK's high support levels during the general election and provincial elections are suspicious. MK became the third largest party in KZN with 45% of the vote, or the largest in KZN, as well as the third largest in South Africa, 15%. You have a new organization called the MK Party that suddenly gets this huge support in KZN and Gauteng a bit, Mpumalanga a bit. Why? Suddenly the ANC drops. Why has this population suddenly decided to ban the ANC? The activation of the National Security Management System produced the result, the machinery that had never been dismantled. You guys are frickin' wackadoodles. ANC has lost the plot. Right-wing imperialism and apartheid. So you can make up any shit to explain away your incompetence, your corruption, and your failure. Do you expect... I told you people in 1994. I told you after 3 national elections, the ANC will begin to be challenged. And it was, internally. And I said, after 20 years, your party will fall out of favor unless you deliver. And you did deliver. 20 years was 10 years ago. And that's when all began to fall apart. All began to fall apart. Apartheid. Extremists, right-wing forces. You are a bunch of crap-a-doodles. Crap-a-doodles. Your head is so far up your ass that all you sniff is shit. Seriously. The ANC, right-wing imperialism from without and within. If there was any right-wing extremism in South Africa, they would have rooted out. The one thing the ANC terrified of more than anything else, they don't give a crap about angry black people. They don't give a crap about starving black babies. They don't give a crap about collapsing infrastructure or the fact that their friends are murderers, terrorists, and genocideers. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. All they care about, they're terrified because they're tiny, penis envy little losers. All they care about and they fear is white supremacy that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. They're terrified of it. Hence, there were more agents from the government in the Boermag, white agents, than there were actual Boermag members. They actually think the AWB exists. Their fear is palpable. So palpable that to create boogeyman, Baba Gaya everywhere. It's absolute insanity. The ANC is bat crap crazy. They've lost the plot. They have nothing left to blame. Their promises they've broken. Thabo Mbeki, your party promised things. Cyril Ramaphosa has been president for 8 years. Your excuse with Zuma was, well, it was state capture. They stole everything. It wasn't our fault. It's your party. It's your president. You picked him. You oversaw the corruption. You undermined the structures, the institutions of South Africa. You did that. You allowed the rise of EFF. The ANC is responsible for all that. You were responsible for EFF. You were responsible for MK. They're fellow travelers. They're just greedy bastards who want their piece of the cut, and you wouldn't give it to them, so they made their own parties. Wow. Unbelievable. Thabo Mbeki has lost the plot. Someone needs to balance his lithium because he's not well. It wasn't suddenly, genius. In the 2019 elections, you got 57%. Your lowest showing. The warning signs were there. In by-election after by-election, you lost your ass in between. In 2021 elections, you lost your ass. Down, 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 down. You're not paying attention. I told you, Thabo Mbeki, in November of 2021, your pathetic party wouldn't do better than 38 to 42%. But you don't listen to me. You listen to people that tell you that beetroot cures AIDS and that HIV doesn't cause it because you're a wackadoodle. You've always been a wackadoodle. And this was the technocrat, the smart one amongst the presidents of South Africa. Seriously? Motlanthe was the only one that was even a rational president under the ANC. And that's only because he wasn't there long enough to screw things up. Well, DNA for $33, that's a good deal, Karen. ANC and DA are finished. You can see them merging in Ramallah. Yes. Yes. Exactly. There's no white supremacy. White people being oppressed by the government of South Africa. Endlessly. That's why they have to make up laws to oppress you. To deny your opportunities, deny you education, deny you jobs. Mumbles Mbeki. Yep. Yep. He claims the organization is still active in society today. Really? So how is it the ANC could focus on the Boermag and take them out, make them not exist? But this so-called mechanism of apartheid is still there. And where exactly are they? In government? There's virtually no white faces anywhere in government. Where are they? In the military? Virtually no white faces in the military. And in order for this structure to exist, it means it would have had to be nurtured and cared for 30 years because all those people are dead or 90 years old. These people are so stupid that they take their voters for stupid. Oh, we go back once again to the government stoking the IFP. And I love how the ANC committed treason against the people of South Africa in the People's War. It's their own doctrine. They wrote the stuff down. They proudly proclaimed that this is what we're going to do. They went to Vietnam and learned how to turn people against the people. That's what they did. They came back and they executed, they necklaced, they murdered, they assassinated thousands of IFP supporters. And they blame it on the government doing it. Special Branch didn't have to turn that on you. You did that to yourself. That was your doctrine. Special Branch wasn't in Quattro in Angola where you murdered your own people from MK. Stop lying, Thabo Mbeki. Go back to Oxford. That's counter-revolution. That's how it works. No, that's a demented lunatic whose medication is out of balance. In a statement, the party says the people of KwaZulu-Natal were not instructed to vote for MK. They rejected your ANC. The people of Western Cape voted DA for decades without being called counter-revolutionaries. Why the MK? Exactly. Look, I don't support the MK. It's a vanity project, but that's 100% correct. The ANC lost the Western Cape 20 years ago. They aren't calling the DA counter-revolution, but they call them white supremacists. So, sorry, MK. It's not much different. It's just a different term. Yep. MK says that the Mbeki's permanent president accused the ANC of working with these forces for the death of Solomon Mhlangu and Chris Hani. Well, no, he was just murdered because people don't want communists. Ancestry DNA has a special every Black Friday, and they usually do a Christmas special. My Heritage is usually $89. I have My Heritage, yep. Yep. Thabo Mbeki has lost it, man. Absolutely lost it. And speaking of lost it, the ANC is fighting itself. Everywhere. Everywhere you look, they're fighting themselves. ANC councillors break ranks and sound alarm over a rot in the Madibang municipality. Isn't that Bloemfontein? Madibang? ANC councillors are accusing leadership of neglecting governance issues. The councillors raised formal complaints warning of ongoing administrative failures and alleged misconduct that are affecting the public trust while undermining the party standing on the ground. As a councillor, I don't have to take this kind of letter to the municipal manager. Normally, I would consult the executive mayor, speaker, and seniors of council, but these questions are administrative and are addressed to the municipal manager. So the ANC is eating itself from inside, and he's looking for a boogeyman outside. Walk in any pick and pay Checkers, any other major supermarket, you won't see a single white person working there as a cashier. Same with banks. Exactly. They've all been removed from society. The racism is palpable, and they deny it every day. They deny it every single day. If all things were equal, 15, 20% of those employees would be white. Not one of them is. Not one of them is. Yep. You're right about that. You're right about that. The only place you have white people is where white people start businesses and white people hire white people. Also hire black people. In Africa, I didn't wear shorts in Africa. I wore trousers. It's just I'm wearing shorts because I'm at home. I'm not going to sit around the house wearing trousers. That's silly. Sean, good night. Take care. You're missing out on the Viking discovery. The world's largest medieval cargo ship has emerged from underwater grave. One of the country's ships, a Viking ship. You're missing out, man. Here it is. Vessel from 1410 named Svelgret 2 was found during seabed surveys for a development project. The world's largest cog ship discovered off the coast of Denmark. Danish archaeologists recently unveiled a major historical breakthrough. They found the remains of the world's largest cog ship in the waters off Copenhagen after 600 years. The announcement was made by the Viking Ship Museum in Roskilde, a place I've been to. Noted the ship had been found in the Øresund, the strait between Denmark and Sweden. Divers found the cog, a type of medieval cargo ship, during seabed surveys ahead of construction of Copenhagen's Lynetteholm development. From the very first dive, the maritime archaeologists sensed they had uncovered something extraordinary. As they removed centuries of sand and silt, the outline of a remarkable find emerged. Not just any wreck, but the largest cog ever discovered. Ship that represents one of the most advanced vessel types of its time and backbone of medieval trade. Measures 92 feet long, 30 feet wide, 20 feet high, with an estimated cargo capacity of 330 tons. They dated ship by conducting tree ring analysis, which showed it was built from timber from Pomerania in Poland. Ship represents the largest example of its type ever discovered anywhere in the world. It's a super ship of the Middle Ages. Transformed trade patterns. Divers also recovered numerous personal objects, including dishes, shoes, combs, rosary beads that the sailors used. Remarkably, archaeologists found the ship's brick-built galley where the crew cooked meals over an open hearth, a rare luxury during life at sea. No trace of cargo has been found, but the museum said barrels of salt, bundles of cloth, and lumber were likely possibilities. No doubt it was a merchant ship. To find a cog lost at sea in this state of preservation is very rare. They'll likely raise it because it's in water where it's been protected and oxygenated. But the Viking Ship Museum in Roskilde perfected the process where they injected gel so that, because when wood that's taken out of the water, it's waterlogged, dries, it expands and breaks apart. Back in the 1960s, they perfected a method of that for the Viking Ship Museum as they uncovered 5 ships that had been intentionally sunk to prevent raids into the Roskilde Fjord, which is where most of the kings and queens of Denmark have been buried. Yep. You handle cold shorts. The heat in Africa must be... Oh, gotcha, Sally. No, the heat in Africa was rough. The worst stuff was actually in Liberia, where I was constantly sweating all the time. I hate to sweat. It was brutal there, humidity. But I adjusted. Was the mayor of Minnesota said and done? I think that did my terrorism. I have no idea what you're asking there, Anton. Yeah, no, it's all coming out of script, Alan. You're right. They've lost their minds. Yeah, 600 years old. That's awesome. Yep. Cousin is where DNA is sold, misused. It's gamble. It's 23 million straight, but self-impressed is slippery slope too. Yeah, well, Karen, you know, you can't hide. That's the bottom line. People think they can hide. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So here's a look at some of the images from the snowstorm. So there's the Capitol building as Amelia O'Brien slides down the Capitol Hill. That's Lake Michigan, Chicago. Atlanta. You can see the ice on the sign. Someone bundled up on the shores of Lake Michigan in Chicago. Philadelphia Art Museum. It's by the steps where Rocky is. You can see the Rocky statue in the background sliding down the steps. That's the Brooklyn Bridge. Times Square. Look at that. People wearing fur. Is fur back in? That's the mall with the Washington Monument. Reflecting pool. The World War II monument is in the distance. The little arches. And where these people were taking the photograph from is Lincoln Memorial. Notice they've gone out of their way to include no white people. Those are Asians. The other people are Asians. Almost no white people in these pictures, even though the country is predominantly white. That's Chicago. Pittsburgh. Abrar Omar, another non-white person. Look at this. New York, the AP, going out of their way. There's another Asian. Do they intentionally hang around until they find an Asian, just take these pictures? Unbelievable. There aren't that many Asians in America. That's in Philadelphia there. Spreading salt in Indianapolis. And that guy's Hispanic or Arabic, not white, again. Marine Corps Memorial in D.C. or Virginia. That's Lake Michigan from Chicago. Washington, D.C. National Art Gallery in D.C. Power line and ice storm. That's not good. Looks like it's been cut apart. Chicago. That's pretty. Nashville, Tennessee. Cincinnati, Ohio. That's Philadelphia again. I recognize that in a heartbeat. Yep. That's the City Hall of Philadelphia. That's a cool street there. Anyway, that's some images of the storm. Wow, they go out of their way to show no white people. Isn't that amazing? Oh, now they don't like plastic fibers. They want natural stuff so we can kill animals again. We are running air to cool down. It's hot. Saw a documentary with Tile, like Catch Me If You Can, not the movie, outdated. Even they can identify you by how you walk from satellite image. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, you can take steps to protect yourself. Like I wouldn't subscribe to 23andMe until after that scandal is over and then measures put in place because I knew that's what they were doing, selling your data. But they've gone bankrupt now. They're owned by somebody else. So they've been the founders, I think, brought them out of bankruptcy. So, United States, where you can retire at the age of 65 with less than $1 million in savings. $1 million is not a lot of money. So, but with $1 million, if you have 5% interest every year, you have to pay taxes on that, but that's $50,000. You pay taxes on $50,000, so you have about $40,000 left. It's not a lot to live on, but if you have more than $1 million, where you have a better than 5% return, you can do better than that. So, for instance, stock portfolio this past year for many people returned 18 to 20%. So it's going to beat that by a wide margin. But interest alone, if you have a few $1 million, you can live off the interest just what the banks pay you. So where could you live for $1 million or less starting age 65? Well, for many Americans, $1 million is seen as a savings benchmark for retirement, but in 32 states, estimated minimum needed to retire at 65 is less than that. So the majority of states, state-by-state analysis, personal finance website, estimates minimum household savings need to retire at age 65 and cover essential living expenses over 25 years, as if you're going to live to be 75, 85 to 90. Housing, groceries, transportation, utilities, and health care. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Alabama, you need $54,000. So you have to have $789,000 in order to make that kind of income per year. Arkansas, you need $54,000, and it goes up. Well, it can go up, changes too. You need $810,000. Florida, $61,000, so you need nearly $1 million. Georgia, Idaho, you need $60,000, so you need $959,000. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska. I'm getting down here to the one I want to get to. Ohio's $57,000. Pennsylvania, you need $59,000, so you need $930,000 in the bank or in savings and investments to live without any money coming in. So that's assuming you don't have a retirement check coming in every month or Social Security. That's just what you get from your investment. So, yeah, but it's not. That's how it was 40 years ago, Anton. That's not the case anymore now. What they use is a chemical. It isn't completely. It isn't rock salt like it used to be. Sometimes they throw that, but the cars are very different now than they used to be. That used to be the case in the northeastern states and the northern winter belt. We used to have rust buckets all over the place, but you don't see cars with much rust now unless they're not maintained. Yeah, so not a problem. My car is 10 years old. There's no rust on it. All right, so there's a place that Denmark sold to the United States a century ago, the Virgin Islands. They were Danish. And how'd it go for the Danes, for the people of the Virgin Islands? It's not the first territory America has wanted from Denmark. Traces of Denmark's 250-year imperial reign are still visible in St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, and the smattering of tiny islets that make up the Virgin Islands. Cities and street signs hold Danish names like Fredrikstad. Buildings feature yellowish red bricks brought on boats across the Atlantic, and the stone facades of sugar plantations where enslaved Africans were forced to labor still stand. They're interspersed with Evanston Island's vibrant Caribbean culture with colorful costume dancers and McDonald's and Home Depot. As President Trump negotiates framework for a deal with Greenland, some residents of the tropical islands say they feel like they're rewatching their own past. History never repeats itself the same way, but it shows up in different forms, said Stephanie Chalana Brown, Afro-Caribbean visual historian with deep roots in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Her ancestors were among the first enslaved by Danish colonial powers, and she's now among a cohort of people working to secure reparations from Denmark. Good luck with that, sweetheart. As slaves, then as residents of the Danish-turned U.S. territory, Brown said her relatives are sold without their consent. A century later, she worries residents of Greenland are facing the same threat. No one's being sold. This is dumbass. More than a century ago, President Wilson bought the islands, then called the Danish West Indies, from Denmark for $25 million after threatening to take them with force. A war was raging in Europe. The United States was seeking to assert its dominance in Latin America. The nation's rival then wasn't China or Russia, but Germany. Yep. After the 1970 purchase, the islands served for decades as a strategic Caribbean outpost for the United States military and a hub of naval operations. But the Navy Air Station on territory closed in 1948, and the islands never became a significant military asset once envisioned. Yep. There are roughly 26,000 inhabitants scattered across St. John, St. Croix, St. Thomas were not given a say, though Denmark did hold a referendum for its mainland residents. After the transaction, it took more than a decade for Virgin Islands to gain United States citizenship. It's the Gerald Ford on December 1st. So we've bought places before, not the first place from Denmark. So when we bought something the last time from Denmark, we wound up with Epstein Island. Did you know that? That was part of the purchase. Yeah, last time the United States purchased land from Denmark, the sale included Jeffrey Epstein's future notorious island. Yeah, 1917 treaty. We paid $25 million, which would be $633 million today. Yep. Among the 60 islands and rocks included in that sale, one, Little St. James, would become infamous after it was bought by Jeffrey Epstein. Yep. So we bought from Denmark. That's where that came from. My cousin says, buy property south of before my small inheritance is eaten up. Says, buy 2 room, rent 1 out. But lucky to find that front of house that leaves me fumes to pay leavers. Karen, well, I mean, if you don't think it's not going to be expropriated, that's, you know. Roshka's off to work. My brother and his wife to Arkansas from Texas. He said you can clearly notice the lower cost of living in Arkansas. Are they refugees in F, or are they South Africans living here? So there's a Danish community in Iowa. I do have a say, Kathy. Tiny Danish-American town loyal to Trump is baffled by his threats to take Greenland. Velkommen to Elkhorn, Danish Windmill Lodging, Danish Immigrant Museum. 2 minutes ahead. In Elkhorn, Iowa, known as Denmark on the Prairie, residents watch with concern as President Trump fixating Greenland disparaged one of America's oldest allies. Town of 600 people in the nearby city of Kimbolton are known as Danish Village, the largest rural Danish-American settlement in the United States. Built by Danish immigrants more than a century ago. A lot of us have more relatives in Denmark than we do in the United States, said Lisa Sten-Riggs, a longtime community leader. There she is. We're proud Americans, but we're proud of our Danish heritage too. But that affinity has been tested by Trump's demand for Greenland. Why? They're Inuit. It's not Danish. Deep red Elkhorn, some residents say they've been baffled by Trump's fixation of Greenland's willingness to disparage Denmark. Trump carried the Royal Iowa precinct by 68% of the vote. Danish pastries, the Kringleman Bakery. James Uren. There you can see it. Falcom. Danish plates. Elkhorn. So a little Danish community here. They moved to Texas from South Africa in 2023. Okay, thank you, Neff. Yep, that's helpful. Greenlanders are left reeling after the week of Trump-induced whiplash. I don't know about that. What whiplash? Exactly. He cunningly maneuvered the Danes to up their security game in Greenland. Last weekend, thousands of people marched in Nuuk. After years of interest by President Trump in acquiring the island, the matter he began floating to aides in 2019. During his first term, the issue gained additional momentum this week. He talked about it in Davos. Some people in Greenland said they're afraid of increasing levels of U.S. troops on the island, worried about retaining or increasing their independence. It's horrible to see an increased presence of foreign troops in our towns and cities, says Arnak Boborog Hansen. There's 40 troops, and you're afraid it's 40 troops? Good Lord. You can't defend yourself. Who are you kidding? EWC is a big reason why I haven't invested in property in South Africa. Exactly. I had to sell my apartment or bank scheme to pay what I owed. Unless if I work, I'll just repeat that. Yeah, I hear you. So the fake media's panic over Greenland, according to The Hill. Let's take a look at this. This is an opinion piece. Truly, there are no more perfect union than one between President Trump and the news media. They live for each other. Trump craves the press's undivided attention. The press craves a sensational Trump content machine. For all the occasional talk from journalists and editorials, the president and the press are a match made in heaven. Consider, for example, the recent hair on fire news coverage of Europe's response to Trump's fixation on acquiring Greenland, which is owned by Denmark. The tone and style of the coverage have been positively Trumpian. Denmark will shoot first and ask questions later over Greenland, reads one scary headline from the UK's Telegraph. The shoot first rule dates back to the 1950s of the Cold War. It's remained in effect ever since. People are only now discovering a decades-old policy and rebranding as if it were meant for the U.S. CNN reported this week European nations send additional troops to Greenland as U.S. annexation threatens to escalate. European military heads to Greenland as Trump's ambitions undeterred by talks. From the sounds of it, we're well on our way to World War III, with the European army gathering Greenland for a bloody showdown with U.S. forces. If that's what you're expecting, well, it's probably time to get a grip. We're not even in the saber-rattling phase, much less the shooting war phase. We're still in the negotiation phase of Greenland Gambit. The White House knows it. Denmark knows it. France sent the largest force to Greenland, about 15 mountain infantry specialists. Germany sent all of 13 personnel reconnaissance team. Norway and Finland each sent 2 liaison officers. Sweden sent between 3 and 5 officers. The Netherlands sent 1 naval officer, and the UK sent 1 officer. Roughly 150 to 200 U.S. servicemen are currently stationed in Greenland at the Pituffik Space Base, which operates under a 1951 agreement. To be fair, it's always unclear whether Trump isn't joking when he says he'll seize the Arctic island by force. Who can even tell with this man? Yep. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense. The press is losing their mind. 120,000 Ohio families have lost their health insurance this month. Here's who to blame. There's only 2 people to blame. Nancy Pelosi and Barack Hussein Obama. They created this abomination, which they timed so that the insurance would expire. They are the architects of this misery. That's who. 20 million Americans lost their health insurance because of Barack Hussein Obama, and the media didn't cover that. 20 million Americans and 10 million illegal aliens got health care. They never talked about that. The harsh reality of partisan politics hit home for thousands of Ohio families who now find themselves without health insurance. If you're a family of 4 in Cleveland earning about $60,000 a year, you're paying $221 more a month for insurance. 120,000 families don't have health insurance because of Bernie Moreno, John Husted, Dave Joyce. They stood in the way. They didn't get their party to do the right thing. Now, this is propaganda from Cleveland.com. The reason you don't have health care is because we're no longer going to pay for other people's health care. It's wrong. It's morally bankrupt. And this is comical here. I would lose my vision. Americans relying ACA health plan face uncertainty. So these people are being subsidized, have free eye care and free dental care. I'm a combat veteran with 36 years service to this nation. I don't have eye care. I don't have dental care. That all comes out of my pocket. I have no insurance for that. No care. Not 1 cent. Not one deductible. No insurance whatsoever. It's ridiculous. The final day for most Americans to enroll in Affordable Care Act insurance plan that begins in February passed earlier this month. Deadline arrives as federal subsidies that once kept premiums affordable have expired. Well, they're not affordable. It means the rest of us are paying for them. Enrollment has fallen behind. 22.8 million people have signed up so far, to be on the federal dole. 800,000 fewer than at the same point last year. The subsidies have expired. It affects 90% of enrollees. With my retirement, small business income, we make an average $110,000 to $120,000 annually. We're paying $350 a month for both our premiums, and now I have to pay $1,200 a month for the same bronze plan. With my ACA plan, I pay $10 a month for one of my medications. Without insurance, it'll cost me $64. Well, that means we've been picking up the other $54. Even those who have, for the moment, opted out of the marketplace are feeling the pressure. Now uninsured since the start of January, Laura says she's been able to refill medication or seek urgent care for a tooth infection. I've just been gargling salt water, hoping it goes away. Well, sweetheart, I don't have dental care. I'm a combat veteran, 36-year Army veteran. I have no dental care. It all comes out of my pocket, and always has since I left active service. I have no vision care. None. None. That all comes out of my pocket. None. I don't have a lot of empathy for these people. Sorry. Is that callous? No, it's not. These are people that are getting subsidized by my tax dollars, which are outrageously high, so that they get cheap insurance at my expense and other people's expense when this problem was created by Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, speaking of that, let me go get a book and read something to you guys. Hang on. Hit the like button. I'll be right back. I'm going to read Peter Schweitzer's latest book. Hang on. Peter Schweitzer's latest book, The Invisible Coup, New York Times #1 best-selling author, How American Elites and Foreign Powers Use Immigration as a Weapon. Okay. This is a good forward. In the beginning here, this is by M. Tully Seronius, Oratorium Paris. A nation can survive its fools and even the ambitious, but it cannot survive treason from within. An enemy at the gates is less formidable, for he is known and carries his banner openly. But a traitor moves amongst those within the gate freely, his sly whispers rustling through all alleys, heard in the very halls of government itself. For the traitor appears not a traitor. He speaks in accents familiar to his victims, and he wears their face in their arguments. He appeals to the baseness that lies deep in the hearts of all men. He rots the soul of a nation. He works secretly and unknown in the night to undermine the pillars of a city. He infects the body politic so that it can no longer exist. A murderer is less to fear. The traitor is the plague. Wow. Introduction. You ready for this? Peter Schweitzer, The Invisible Coup. This is a guy that wrote Clinton Cash and a bunch of other stuff. A haze of smoke drifted across the street where masses of protesters inciting violence waved foreign flags in the breeze. This was not a battle scene from a distant war, but Alameda Street in downtown Los Angeles. And the defiant crowd waving Mexican, Salvadoran, and Palestinian flags was confronting a line of local and federal law enforcement. Similar scenes have been playing out across the United States from Texas to New York in recent months as organized activist groups confronted not just the flesh and blood U.S. officers called in to enforce immigration law, but in fact the American system of law and order itself, under foreign colors for personal political purposes. On the surface, these scenes painted a jarring picture of the consequences of an open border policy. However, a deeper look exposes something far more alarming: the weaponization of mass migration as a tool of subversion against the United States by foreign governments and organizations, as well as their domestic allies. As we will see, the Los Angeles and other violent protests were encouraged by foreign governments. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the United States set a record in 2024 when the foreign-born population reached an all-time high of 15.2%. This statistic itself is not the problem. After all, e pluribus unum is the American way. Out of many, one. Out of many nationalities and ethnicities, we are one nation and stronger for it. But other countries use the immigration to the U.S. to destabilize our democratic republic. Tens of millions of immigrants, my parents included, have come to the United States proud of their cultural heritage, but also proud to respect American laws, work hard, and adopt American values, culture, and language. Many recent immigrants continue this honorable tradition. The problem is that foreign entities, both hostile and so-called friendly governments, as well as radical overseas movements and terrorist groups, are using the American tradition of welcoming immigrants against us to subvert our country. They are aided and abetted by domestic forces who help them either because they share their goals or seek an expedient political benefit. Half a century ago, people immigrated here to seek the freedom and opportunity only America could provide. Today, mass migration is increasingly engineered to promote malevolent agendas against the United States, including the creation of powerful political networks inside our country designed to undermine us. Let me be clear. This is no great replacement theory, a Marxist rehash of class warfare theology, which posits that domestic elites import migrants to replace native populations in Europe and the United States, all in the name of cheaper labor. The creator of this theory, French leftist Renaud Camus, calls this genocide by great replacement and blames American capitalism. His central villain is a 19th century American efficiency expert named Frederick Winslow Taylor, who, according to Camus, is to replacism what Marx is to communism. For Camus, it is capitalists, namely Davos, cybernetics, banks, hedge funds, pension funds, big tech, etc., who are engineering an invasion of migrants. Camus, it should be noted, dislikes not only migrants, but all population growth, deriding the pro-natalist politicians who encourage citizens to have more children. After all, he claims, demographic growth is a disaster everywhere it is found. While Renaud Camus is an atheist and a socialist on the political left, his ideas have been amplified by some across the political spectrum to promote racist and xenophobic ideas. In his way, Camus has become useful to the political left, who have found him the perfect straw man used to dampen any debate about mass migration as racist. Acknowledging migration with deleterious intent is not racist, but rather calling attention to a vulnerability unique to our country's heritage of welcoming people of all races and cultures. We can only maintain that heritage if we preserve it from manipulation. The pessimistic Mr. Camus is wrong. The manipulation or weaponization of mass migration is not being conducted by a cabal of capitalists, as Camus would have us believe. It is being carried out by foreign governments and political movements operating inside the United States, aided and abetted by domestic political actors who seek partisan political gains. The mass migration problem is not just a border crisis. It is a weapon deployed by our adversaries with devastating effect long after the border crisis seems solved. Its aim, only dimly understood by our leadership class, is subversion, and it is succeeding. If demography is destiny, then weaponization of mass migration is a result of what the late Harvard professor Samuel Huntington called a clash of civilizations. Western, Latin American, Muslim, and Sinic Chinese nations, among others, have distinctly different cultures and thus distinctly different political structures. Some are more individualistic, others are more collectivist-oriented. Nations may value profoundly different things, says Huntington, hence the clash. Huntington was mostly concerned that the clash would inevitably lead to wars between these powerful civilizations and only touched on the dynamics of mass migration. What is now occurring is a clash of civilizations manifest inside the United States itself. In this book, we will expose the clash of civilizations occurring within our borders, a clash designed to displace American democratic civilizational values. Ironically, it is these values that uniquely bind Americans together: respect for individual life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, not a single ethnicity that is at stake. Over the past few years, we have witnessed masses of migrants on our screens streaming across the southern border and read the accounts of illegal migrants clogging America's shelters, all while criminal gangs wreak havoc on American streets. Our digital platforms capture the largest mass migration in U.S. history for all to see. The issue played a central role in the 2024 election of Donald Trump as president. As promised, he and his new administration dramatically reduced the deluge of humanity to a trickle. Case closed. or not. Certainly, controlling the border is a constructive first step. Deporting illegal criminals is another. However, as we will reveal, there is much more to the story than people simply crossing the border illegally. Something more profoundly troubling is taking place that has escaped even the most informed news consumer or policymaker. To paraphrase Winston Churchill, reducing the flow at the border is not the end of the problem. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the beginning of the end of the beginning phase of solving the ongoing, largely unrecognized existential threat we face. That threat is subversion. Subversion is an effort by which the values and principles of the system are reversed or contradicted, undermined, and sabotaged an established social order. In a word that we associate with the Cold War and Senator Joe McCarthy, or the milieu of spies and third world revolutionaries, today it is happening on a grand scale in the United States. Using stealth weapons, the flow of people across the U.S. border is not just a matter of immigration, economics, and crime. It is an organized political subversion with people being wielded as tools to undermine our country's sovereignty. Traditionally, immigrants come to a new country to live and worship as they choose while embracing the norms of their host country. But now migrants are being steered to unravel the fabric of society and the culture that has welcomed them. As we will see, this is neither fantasy nor a conspiracy theory. The culprits themselves tell us this is so. Throughout the following chapters, I will expose the range of actors and the weapons they employ to engineer this subversive mission. To succeed, they use a mass infusion of people and work aggressively to prevent these masses from assimilating so that American values are destabilized. The subversive mission exploits American openness and generosity, but also requires willing collaborators in the United States who share the vision or at least see it as a means to power. They also seek to use migrants as radical agents of change. The strategy itself of weaponizing migration has modern precedents. In 1974, Algerian President Houari Boumediene stood in front of the United Nations General Assembly in New York and threatened that migration would be weaponized to conquer the West. 1974, 51 years ago. One day, millions of men will leave the southern hemisphere of this planet and burst into the northern one, but not as friends, because they will burst in to conquer, and they will conquer by populating with their children. Victory will come to us from the wombs of our women. This is a direct quote, 1974. As we will see, Mexican and other leaders are doing their best to make this strategy a reality. In 1977, the Communist Chinese threatened President Jimmy Carter with mass exodus of millions. Carter was meeting with Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, pressing him on the communist government human rights record. Okay, Deng Xiaoping replied impatiently. Well then, exactly how many Chinese would you like, Mr. President? 1 million, 10 million, 30 million? It was a not-so-veiled threat to deploy a migrant weapon. Carter certainly saw it as such. As we'll see, China currently has a subversive migration program directed against the United States that is unmatched in its sophistication. In 1997, Malaysian Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, attending a meeting of Southern African International Dialogue, threatened that if the West did not give the developing world what it wanted, we should migrate north in the millions, legally or illegally. Masses of Asians and Africans should inundate Europe and America. Today, we're no longer dealing with the rhetorical threats, but with the consequences of migration warfare. A U.S. federal immigration judge, Aaron Perry, puts it, international population movements are often imperiled, encouraged, or prevented by governments or political forces. Judge Perry adds, mass migration do not merely happen, more often they are made to happen. Perry likens these recent mass migrations to living warheads being fired in America. Even those who have characterized mass migration as an invasion may not appreciate how accurate the term is. Foreign governments and domestic actors inside the United States see migration as a strategic force to transform American government, culture, and values. As we will see, their strategy is intentional, openly expressed, well-developed, and has been adopted by so-called friendly governments like Mexico, as well as hostile powers like China. Aided by partisan political actors inside the United States, the goal is to transform America and trigger a cultural revolution. Facilitating migration in the United States is only the first step, and the one that receives all the attention. Once migrants are in the U.S., foreign governments, political movements, and their domestic allies here work hard to keep them from assimilating and craft into radical political change agents. Does that sound extreme? Wait until you hear them in their own words. While President Trump has dramatically reduced migration traffic across the southern border during his second term, little notice has been paid to the weaponization of those already in the country. That problem has scarcely been recognized. In Texas, California, and New York, a senior Mexican official huddles with illegal migrants. The purpose of the meetings? To organize militancy inside the United States. Across America, the Mexican government, through its more than 50 consulates, is blatantly interfering in our domestic politics, working with American political advisors to turn legal and illegal immigrants inside the U.S. into a political force to wield for their own benefit. In Mexico City, the country's president candidly and calmly explains the purpose of mass migration in the United States, the reconquering of the American Southwest, or the Reconquista, which I've talked about many times, the territories lost to the United States in the 19th century. The Mexican government works to make this a reality. From California, New York, radical foreign political movements are using migrants quietly and systemically to take over important U.S. political institutions motivated and driven by foreign ideologies. In America's heartland, a foreign organization instrumental in the 9/11 terror attacks is helping to fund and elect members of Congress. In China, up to 1 million Americans raised inside the communist Chinese country will be the age to vote in the U.S. election, even though they have never lived here. That's because of the birthright. They come over here and they get the birthright citizenship. They do their anchor babies. The Manchurian generation is further augmented by the efforts of Chinese Communist Party officials using surrogacy to raise a horde of in vitro fertilization of American children. In China and Arizona, a clandestine scheme to train thousands of Chinese military pilots in the United States every year is ongoing, boosting Beijing's military power, just like the Flying Academy of South Africa. In Washington, D.C., an American immigration visa program developed by a Chinese spy allows Chinese-based individuals to funnel tens of millions of dollars into American political campaigns legally. Also in Washington, politicians quietly rake in millions from foreign nationals who can't vote in our elections, but can legally donate to their campaigns. In the corridors of American power, prominent American progressives cooperate with individuals directly tied to drug cartels who profit from the subversive goals of mass migration. In the White House, American presidents manipulate and ignore U.S. citizenship process on a massive scale for personal political benefits, minting new citizens who have not been properly vetted and have criminal records. As you will see in the chapters that follow, evidence of engineered mass migration, its use as a subversive tool, abounds in government documents, statements by foreign leaders, hacked emails, and internal documents from organizations in the United States. Today, the clash of civilizations is more than a useful theory for foreign policy experts to use when playing their moves out on the global chessboard. It is occurring in real time within the borders of the United States. What is at stake is not about race, but about the corruption of the American experiment itself, and with it the liberties that allow all people of all ethnicities to thrive together. Yep. So there you go. Wow. Just when I heard some bit of it, but based on what I hear, it sounds similar. Something's happening. Yeah, same thing. It's been going on here for 50 years. Yep. Hispanics were 6% of the population in 1980. Today, they're 18%. Triple their position. It's nonsense. And the country is much larger, so the number is exponential. There's 6 or 8 million Hispanics. Now there's 45 million. Yeah, that was 60 million, something like that. It's crazy. Yeah, and this effort to force us to speak Spanish. We're not a bilingual country. Let's abandon this Spanish bullshit and make people assimilate. Yep. Boy, the audience has not been very big tonight. What's going on with Sunday night? It's a little slow. We don't even have 1,000 views. Usually by now we're over 1,000. Wow, 5,000 even though you send the meter in. Well, it addresses their allies in the who are already here. Yeah, it talks about that. Yep. Try to charge mobiles. Anyway, an hour and a half. All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Small audience tonight. Hope that you found that useful. And we've got a refugee interview in the morning. It's also kind of warm, even though it says it's 21 in here. Take this hoodie off. I'm kind of cooking. I'm going to get some rest, and you guys have a good night. I might make a video tonight, okay? All right, you all take care. I see a lot of people got to run, so thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. Cheers.